good afternoon. My name is Peculiar Uliba, the group leader for Group 11. We are going to be presenting on business communication skills and strategies. In this video, we are going to be talking about what business communication entails, the skills needed in communication, and the strategy for an effective communication. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peculiar. My name is Omodara Olaoluwa, and I'll be talking on verbal communication and the medium used in verbal communication. Now, what is verbal communication? Verbal communication refers to the use of words and language to communicate messages to other parties. Now, this type of communication involves speaking and listening, either face-to-face or a telecommunication device. Verbal communication can be through spoken or written words. It's also a form of communication in which the sender uses words to transmit messages to the receiver. Now, it is not communicating through body language, and it does not refer to the process of sending or receiving wordless message. Okay, now we move to medium used for verbal communication. We have oral communication and written communication. Now, what's oral communication? This communication is done through face-to-face interaction, and it can be either through group meetings, telephone calls, video conferencing, voice chats, or any other means of sending or receiving spoken messages. Now I move on to written communication. Now, what's written communication? This involves the use of letters, documents, emails, memos, and various chat platforms to interact with people in the business environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Olaolu. My name is Ezekiel Olawale Adoreju. I'll be talking about the importance of verbal communication as well as the importance of non-verbal communication. And to the importance of verbal communication helps to build relationship between both the customers, clients, and colleagues in the business environment. Then this also helps us to build trust and also develop rapport, and as well convey empathy in the business environment. It also enables individuals to share their opinions, ideas, and concerns in order to facilitate decision making. Then it also promotes innovation among other things. So individuals can share their thoughts, they can share their ideas, which can lead to innovation in the business environment. Also, leaders who are skilled at effective communication can motivate their team members to achieve the organizational goals. Now, importance of non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication adds meaning and nuances such as face expression, tone of voice, and body language to verbal communication. So it also helps to provide feedback to the speaker. That is, it helps to indicate whether the message is being understood, whether it is being accepted or rejected. For example, a nod of the head like this can show agreement, while a furrowed brow can show confusion or disagreement. Then also it can particularly be useful when language barriers or other factors make verbal communication difficult. When you are in a setting that nobody else understands your language, non-verbal communication can be used to pass across information. Then also non-verbal communication can be particularly effective in conveying emotions such as joy, sadness, anger, or fear. For example, a hug can show affection, as well as while a clenched fist can show anger or frustration.
My name is Ayomide Okirikit, and I'll be speaking on skills needed for effective speaking. There are several skills needed for effective speaking, some of which are clarity, confidence, eye contact, and so on. Clarity. Effective speakers should be clear and concise in their speech. They have to use simple and direct language that is easy for the audience to understand. Confidence. Speakers need to project confidence and conviction when speaking so that their audience can likely trust them and believe in them. Eye contact. Maintaining eye contact with the audience is important because it helps the audience have a connection and engage them in the presentation. Body language. Non-verbal skills like gestures, facial expressions, and help reinforce the speaker's message and add emphasis to the key points. Listening. Effective speakers need to be good listeners, paying attention to the needs and concerns of the speakers. Organization. A well-organized speech or presentation can help the audience flow along and understand the key points of the speaker. Adaptability. Effective speakers should be able to adapt to the messages to different audiences and situations using appropriate language and examples to connect with their listener. Humor is used for engaging the audience and making a speech more memorable. It's used judiciously in an appropriate way for the occasion. Confidence in silence. Effective speakers need to be confident and comfortable in moments of silence.
Good day, my name is Olokun Akonimi, and I'm talking about listening, communication, and the processes involved in listening. Now, what is listening? Listening is the ability to accurately receive, process, and interpret messages in the communication process. It is the key to all effective business communication, because without the ability to listen effectively, messages can easily be misunderstood or misinterpreted. Active listening can also be defined as fully concentrating on what is being said and digesting it without any kind of prejudgment. It can also be defined as the active process that constructs meaning to both verbal and non-verbal messages. Now, the processes involved in listening. We have 5 processes, which include receiving. Now, receiving is the intentional focus on hearing the speaker's message. The ear is the primary tool involved in this receiving process, and it's involved hearing and attending. Now, what is hearing? Hearing is the psychological process of registering signals that is entering the eardrum. Now, what is attending? Attending can be Now, under the processes involved in listening, we have 5 processes and includes 1, receiving. This is the intentional focus on hearing a speaker's message. And the second one, understanding. This is the stage whereby the listener determines the context and meaning of the words they hear. Because when the listener does not understand what the speaker is, that means effective listening has not taken place. Now, the third one, remembering. This process occurs as the listener categorizes and retains the information gathered from the speaker for future access. For example, if the technique that we can use to remember information is jotting down notes. Now, the fourth one, evaluating. This is the stage in which the listener assesses the information received both quantitatively and qualitatively. Now, the final one, responding on feedback. The response can be either verbal or non-verbal. And verbal includes asking questions, trying to request additional information. Now, the non-verbal one it involves gestures such as nodding, smiling, and any other body language.
My name is Imam Aminat. I'm here to speak on the barriers to listening. Barriers to listening are things that hinder effective listening. Some of them are physical and environmental barriers. These include excessive external noise from the environment, physical obstruction between the listener and the speaker, too much distance between the listener and the speaker. Other environmental barriers such as heat, poor lighting. Cultural barriers, significant difference in the religion, belief, ethnicity, and values of the listener and the speaker can hinder effective listening. Emotional and psychological barriers, state of mind of the listener and their energy level, such as excitement, sadness, anger, anxiety. All of these factors can hinder the effective listening. Language barrier, different language and distinctive accents of the listener and speaker can also hinder effective listening. Physiological barrier, injury or illness can hinder effective listening. Information overload is also a barrier to effective listening, and assuming that what the speaker has to say is not making sense can also hinder effective listening.
My name is Peculiar Uliba. I'm going to be talking about the concept of reading. Reading refers to the process of interpreting written or printed symbols, characters, or words to comprehend their meaning. Reading can be divided into word recognition, fluency, vocabulary comprehension, and even critical reading. Word recognition, it is the ability to recognize and decode individual words. Fluency is the ability to read quickly and accurately with the proper expression. Vocabulary, this is the knowledge of words and their meanings. And comprehension is the ability to understand and interpret the meaning of a text. We are also going to be talking about effective reading strategies. These are strategies that is needed when you are engaging in reading. The first is previewing. This involves taking a quick glance at the title, heading, subheading, and the text feature to get an idea of what the text is about. Skimming. Skimming involves reading quickly through text to get the general context, the general idea of the content. Scanning. Scanning involves searching for specific information in the text, such as names, dates, or keywords. Active reading. This involves actively engaging with the text by asking questions, making connections, and summarizing the main ideas. Annotating. Annotating involves making notes, underlining, highlighting, or marking the text in some way to help the reader identify important information and create a record of their thought and reaction to the text. Chunking. Chunking involves breaking down the text into smaller sections. And finally, in the whole of effective reading strategies, we have reflecting. Reflecting involves thinking critically about the material and considering how it relates to your own experiences, your beliefs, and your values. Thank you.
My name is Bisiri Morenik, and I'm talking about speaking, what speaking means in business communication, and the purpose of speaking. Now, speaking is the production of auditory signal that is designed to produce a differential verbal response in a listener. It is the act of expressing our ideas and thoughts verbally, orally to our audience during a meeting or in a professional or business setting. It ranges from presentations to phone calls or even speeches, video conferences, and so on. It involves a clear and concise articulation, active listening, eye gestures, and even body languages. Now let's talk about the purpose of speaking. Why do people speak in a business setting? 1. Presenting of information. This could be anything from giving a project update or even a sales pitch. It requires a clear and concise use of language and conveying information effectively. Secondly, persuading or influencing others. This could involve convincing people or appealing to their conscience to purchase a product or use a service, or even appealing to your team members to adopt a new idea. So we also talk about building relationships. Effective communication through speaking help us to build rapport between members of an organization, even internally and externally. It keeps the organization going. Lastly, we have problem solving. Effective communication through speaking helps us to identify problems and provide reasonable solutions in tackling those problems. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My name is Olabi Aliu, and I'm going to speak on writing. So, what is writing? Writing is a special ability used by man to enable him to state his desires, thoughts, and actions in written form using symbol signs to represent words and expression. Writing is used to make language visible in such a manner that spoken words and expression are represented using signs and symbols. Writing, as you all know, is the most formal way of communicating to a person. Now, the importance of writing in communication. Now, writing helps in providing evidence that a form of communication has occurred between one individual and another in such a way that anything that is written, documented, when kept well, can be brought out in many years to come that, at this social point in time, this sort of communication occurred between me and this social person. Now, it makes communication of information to large audience easier and faster in such a way that I can send emails to a large number of people, giving them the same information, or through the use of flyers, whereby I can print a large number of flyers and distribute it to anybody that maybe I want to advertise a product. Then the large audience can get information and pass to them concerning the product that I'm trying to sell. Now, it is suitable for long distance communication. For instance, when I write a letter to a person, then I send it to a postal office for them to give it to a person at a far distance location. Depending on the address, the postal office can deliver it to whoever wants it to reach. Now, writing, it serves as a form of creating goodwill in such a way that, for instance, a company now that sells products, if they want to ensure good customer relationship, they can write letters to their customers to enable them for them to engage in business transactions.
So, my name is Alexander Victor, and I'll be talking about the essentials of a good writing. There are different essential qualities of any good writing. Some of them include simplicity. Now, most writers have this misconception that if they use flowery language or they use uncommon words, it makes their writing better. It is not the case. So simplicity is a very, very important point in good writing. You need your work to be very simple and easy to understand by the reader. Another quality is grammar. Your punctuation, your spellings, your use of grammar must be always in check in order to ensure that writing is proper. Then we have conciseness. Your work must be short, it must be direct, it must be straight to the point. It must also be reader oriented. That is, you must be able to know your audience, what they need, their expectations in order to what make your writing. Then so also we have some types of examples of what written communication. One of them is emails. Emails are a very common form used in many companies today. They can be informal, they can be semi-formal, they can also be formal, and emails can be sent to different recipients. Also we have letters. Letters are majorly formal. They are used in formal settings, official settings, and they can be sent by writing or electronically. Then we have memos. Memos are used within an organization to send information requests or announcements to an employee or a department. Also we have reports. Reports are basically formal documents used to communicate information requests or announcements to employees or departments. Then we have proposals. Proposals are documents used to present ideas or solutions to a problem or an opportunity. They are used in businesses too. Then we have our manuals and guides, which are often used in the technical or professional context to provide information and guidance about how to use a product, a service, or a system. Lastly, we have the social media posts. Our social media apps like our Facebook, WhatsApp, etc. are used to convey information to a larger audience.
My name is Abdullah Abdulrazak. In conclusion, effective business communication skills and strategy are crucial for the success in today's competitive and intercontinental world. Effective communication helps businesses build strong relationships with clients, stakeholders, and employees, fostering trust and collaboration. By employing various strategies such as active listening, clear and precise messaging, adapting communication styles to different audiences, businesses can overcome barriers, resolve conflicts, and drive positive outcomes. Moreover, staying up to date with evolving communication technologies and trends helps business leverage on new opportunities and stay ahead of the curve. Ultimately, investing in owning business communication skills and effective strategies not only help business to enhance productivity and effectiveness, but also contribute to long-term growth and prosperity. Thank you.